Lee is a veteran photojournalist who is documenting what they appear to be the last days of a civil war that is tearing America apart. She decides to travel to Washington with her fellow journalists Joel, Sammy, and newcomer Jesse to interview the president before his defeat. What follows is a journey that will expose the horror and idiosyncrasies of this war. Hey folks, Luke Riva here. Welcome back to Wikos. Today I'm reviewing Civil War, Alex Garland's latest and maybe last movie, which is also, at this time at least, the most expensive and most successful A24 film. Let's start by making one thing absolutely clear. This is not a war movie. In fact, we are not told much about the Civil War. We don't know exactly how it came to be, and we are deliberately left in the dark about the politics. We know some bad stuff the president pulled, but his part is never mentioned, much like the secessionists. We only know the forces in place and everything necessary to make us understand the third act. This is of course a smart way to make the film appealing to everyone without ostracizing one side or the other. Some may say it's a gutless choice, but the film is engineered to make you not care about these things either. And that's because Civil War is very much a road movie about photojournalists and reporters that are documenting their journey to Washington, by proxy exposing the consequences of this war rather than the war itself. Everything is narrated wisely. The script is written following the three-act structure pretty closely. To the point it makes the film's story extremely accessible in spite of its content, especially because the four main characters are built clearly so we do care what happens to them. Don't mistake this as for the amount of details we are given about them. Like the war, in fact, we know very little. We are given just exactly what we need to know to understand what's going on, and some extra trivia, so to speak, when the characters talk among them. Another really interesting thing is how Civil War approaches the horrors they are witnessing versus the horrors they are directly part of. In the former, we are dropped in the middle of the action out of the blue, where we get engulfed by the extreme sounds, thus making us overwhelmed, contrary to the characters' calm portrayed by the photos they are taking, and the sudden seconds of silence when we are shown the frame they capture. Conversely, when they are part of the horror firsthand, we always have a slow build-up intensely playing with silence, and here we are in sync with the characters. Here we don't have photo moments, except for one. Both culminate in the incredibly intense third act, which starts as one but evolves into the other. Another very interesting part about the script is Lee and Jesse's dynamic. Without giving away spoilers, their arc is the Benjamin Button to the other. The result is a visceral depiction of this dystopian United States of America, with Garland never holding the violence and the horrors back, alongside the visceral human reactions the characters experience witnessing and experiencing firsthand these events. I have to emphasize the violence part. It's extreme, at times morbid. It's never gratuitous, it's always propedeutic to the narration, but when I say the story is very accessible in spite of the content, I absolutely mean it. In short, if you are very susceptible to violence, this may not be the thing for you. Civil War greatness also comes from masterful work in editing, and every single choice Garland and editor Jake Roberts make is very effective, absolutely taking advantage of Rob Hardy's fantastic cinematography. I would consider this film probably in the same technical ballpark of excellence as Oppenheimer. Even the song choice is really smart and functional to what's on screen, and they marry Jeff Barrow and Ben Salisbury's score beautifully, and both are functional to the amazing sound editing that really make the key moments stand out. Needless to say, such a movie couldn't work without strong acting performances. Stephen McKinley Anderson plays a seasoned reporter Sammy with an authentic performance that plays on his physicality, offering wisdom in a world that has none. Wagner Moura is Joel, his partner in crime. Very extroverted compared to the others, he's subject to a very impactful evolution, which has him display multiple emotions, which always feel viscerally authentic. Kaylee Spaney, who you may have seen her recently in Sofia Coppola's Priscilla Always for A24, plays Jessie, an up-and-coming photo reporter who gets her first experience here. She's perfect to portray an experienced character who gets carved by what happens to her. The strongest performance comes without a doubt from Kirsten Dunst, who plays Lee, the main protagonist of the film. Her performance is mostly quiet as the character requires it. You really have the feeling she has seen it all. Yet, despite being mostly quiet and collected, her performance is very intense for it to explode in the third act, much like the film itself. Honestly, if she's not going to be a contender at next year's awards season, it's going to be a joke. Overall, I score Civil War with a 9.5 out of 10. Alex Garland, the road movie in a dystopian America, is an incredibly crafted movie that is extremely simple as intense, and honestly in general I consider it an all-around strong contender for next year's awards, with Kirsten Dunst as the cover for this statement. That's it for this review. Did you watch Civil War? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this review, be sure to subscribe and or follow depending on which platform you're on. You can find Weekos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok and Twitch. My name is Rukuripa, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.